Hey guys, it's Dan here from Bolster. I'm really excited to have Mike here from Nola Fence Solutions. Yeah, he's had an interesting journey, to say the least, and we're here to talk about Bolster and how it's helped his business. So yeah, why don't you give us a bit of an introduction and also tell us about how Bolster's helped you, start this business and also scale it.
Yeah, so I've been in this business now for going on 5 years. I would say now for probably the last three, I've been involved with Bolster. Um, what it has allowed me to do at this point is kind of go from the small market that I was in to be able to now actually grow into something that I see myself being able to um, bid out larger scale jobs, look more professional as the job market or the market for jobs at this point has gotten a lot more competitive. This has kept me ahead. What I'm getting with Bolster is something that no one else in my area is doing. They're not having as transparent estimates, stuff that has so many different tools to allow the customer to create what they want within the parameters of what you do. Um, so for me, it's been nothing but seeing continual growth, and continual growth for me. Um, Once a lot of the back end work here is done to build out your your kind of template and your estimating kind of niche of how you're going to do things on here. It really has cut my estimating time down to literally minutes instead of hours. And for me, it's been a pretty good transition. It has made invoicing pretty seamless. It has made estimates almost too fast for me. And I've seen continual growth in the business as we looking into this year. Like I have opportunities at jobs that I don't think I would have had a chance at 3 years ago. And a lot of that is to do with the fact that I can just put something out there that looks professional, looks clean, has everything buttoned up, and is also providing education for our customers when they get it, um, with photos, pictures of finished work, all of that stuff without having to sit there and, yes, I'll text you some pictures of what a fence looks like. No, this is what's showing up when they see the estimate. So it's a very good way for us to keep on top of your pipeline. That's one thing that I've found, that like seeing your CRM and seeing all of your customers and seeing your workflow really kind of shows you where you are with things, what you're projecting to do with things, and when you need to nudge somebody or when you need to let somebody go. So for me, it's been a pretty good experience, and I look forward to continue to actually learning how to maximize this even more.
Awesome, man. That's great to hear. And yeah, no, thanks for sharing a little bit about your business and how it's helped. I mean, it's all, awesome music to my ears as well. Yeah, man, how's everything going on your side, man? It's been busy or, how's
Uh, we
it been for yourself?
we're getting back busy. I mean, we got. I mean, it's New Orleans. The rest of the world right now is back to starting the year, and we're about to shut down again for Mardi Gras.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have starting this week 2 weeks of just nobody doing anything,
Right.
and I mean we're still working, but I got to be a little more strategic. Like I had a guy that wanted a job done this week, and I was like, well, dude, if you really want it done, this was last week. I was like, I need to know now because I got to
Yeah.
come see you on Monday because come Wednesday of this week, I'm not getting back to his area for 3 weeks. Um, and he's like, well, I'm not directly on the parade route. I'm like, yeah, but you're 2 blocks away because like once those things start, you're not getting out. So I don't want my guys out there. But no, enough about that. I mean, I'm happy to be here with y'all. I guess Ryan, since the last time we talked, now that we got all of those selector tools in, one of my big suppliers even made the comment to me as I showed him, look what we can do now. And now I'm figuring out how to add the stuff in on my own and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, he was like, no one else in the city is doing what you do.
Wow.
Like, like no one else can show this transparency. Um, the customer that I dealt with on that was yesterday, yeah, he lives on St. Charles Avenue, which is the one of the main streets where all these parades are. This
Right.
house looks like a plantation in the middle of the city. Like, I mean, because that's all how all the houses look on St. Charles Avenue. And I mean, the price of the job was pretty expensive. It was pretty extensive. And his exact words to me were, I'm going with you because of how thorough you were on our visit and how thorough your estimate was. Because my estimate, I mean, I'm learning now, leave it up to them a little bit on some of the materials to pick because I can steer them in that, but I can also upsell something without having to sell it. I have pictures that show what that product looks like. They can click on that more expensive board and go, "Ooh, I really want that," or go, "Shit, he was right. That was really expensive."
Yep.
Um, now I'm learning how to take that existing template that I have on, like, let's say a 7-foot job, but I need to convert it to a 7-foot something else, and I'm able to pick and choose my little things, make my adjustments, save that template, and now boom, this is built out. Whereas um, before I was in no man's land about it, and now this may sound crazy, like I kind of look forward to doing the estimate now. And honestly, to take you back of how I started with the software, um, I started with I tried another one for like 2 weeks, and this was like 3 years ago. And I was like, this isn't going to work. Like it seemed like it was going to work, but I was like, this is too much. And I'll tell you the hard part about this when we first got started was I needed this. My attitude was for the cost of the year and the job I was bidding at the time.
Hmm.
I was like, I don't give a shit if I ever use this thing again. But I was using Square at the beginning, and Square is very elementary, but it was pretty simple for what I was doing. Most of my jobs being at the time ranging from $6,000 to $15,000. Hack it out in Square, boom, it's done and finished. Well, then I get this opportunity at a job that the initial estimate was 700,000. Well, Square doesn't let you give an estimate for over $50,000. So now I'm going, I don't want to look like an idiot and sending them 14 estimates at, $50,000. I was like, so at least if I learn how to just come up and type this thing up, send it out, it'll look pretty, and I'm done.
Hmm.
And then, like, I started learning more and more about what I could do with it if I could get there. Um, until I got with Ryan, to be honest with you, there was a lot of turnover. So I had several different guys. We've been cleaning up the old templates. And so, like, guy X, whoever the first guy was, was like, he wants to build it out this way. And I was like, okay. So I started getting acclimated. Well, then, guy B comes in and it's like, well, no, 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 no. We're going to do it a little simpler. And then so now I got two sets of templates that I don't know what the shit to do with either one. And then when Ryan came in, I was like, look, dude, here's where I'm at. Here's what I need to do. And he was just like, boom, all right, this is all we're going to do. Boom, 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 boom. And like the other day, I sat there and I deleted, I think, 25 old templates. And now I'm cut down to probably 6 or 8 and
Perfect.
building as I go now. Now I feel confident enough to say, okay, I'm taking my 7-foot template. The sheet metal's got to be 7 foot high. I'm just changing my fence board now to sheet metal, and I'm getting my price per foot because all of the I guess if you want to call it the equations or all of the coding is in there for
Hmm.
price per foot. So then I just got to come up with here's my price per foot, put in my feet, and boom, boom, boom. And now I'm going, okay. And then I got it in my head, okay, this job's 1,800 feet. I need to make about this. Well, the way we have it set up with the percentages and everything, I'm looking at it when it comes out. It's like, well, shit, there it is. It's literally mathematically still landing where I want to be. And look, there's
Hmm.
certain times where I've even learned how to adjust my, if I'm at 30% on every residential, install, and I go, okay, well, here's this job that is $75,000, I really can't be at 30% on it. And on top of that, I'm subbing the whole damn thing out. I just need to be at about 15, 18%. I went and front faced the customer, da 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 da. Because on this, that of that 75 grand, I'm gonna make 15 grand to just shake hands, send a bid out, communicate with my sub, and it's gonna be done in a week and a half. Well, that's okay. Instead of now I can get the job making 15 instead of just going, well, I'm gonna keep it at 30, and it's now going out at, almost $40,000, and they're going, you're crazy. And so understanding how to play with it now, I will say that it does take time to learn it. You do have to be willing to put in the time, which I've learned that what you want and what it actually takes doesn't add up. What I mean by that is I can't just call Ryan and go, Ryan, make me 4 templates on a 6 foot, a 7 foot, and an 8 foot, and you need to read my mind and know exactly what I want.
Yeah.
It does take tinkering. It does take like,
Yeah.
all right, Ryan, I need to talk to you about I use this type of post or this, and you start to become a little more cognizant and a little more aware when you're doing your estimates. Now I'll double check stuff. I still screw things up. But I've also learned that like now, if I screw up, let's say this template I'm fooling on, I accidentally click update in catalog and I go, oh shit, I didn't want to do that. Now I just go, okay, well, let me go find an old one, an old customer who had that. And I go back and I get on their template and I go update in catalog and it resets it back. So for me, like I said, it's been nobody's doing it. And I think y'all have probably heard this. One, you got to know your value. I know my value, and I'm not going to be the cheapest guy. The biggest fight that I'm dealing with, that I think most contractors are dealing with, and I hear it from every side of it, whether it's my buddy who owns a landscape company, people who do concrete, pools, brickwork, everybody. There are people out there who aren't as qualified as me. And what I mean by qualified, they're not carrying insurance, they're not registered with the State Board of Contractors, and they're destroying the market by giving it away. And I'm different. I'm a fence contractor. I don't come home with concrete all over me and, filthy every day. I'm out selling. I'm out, doing the follow-up work. Now I'm also taking the phone calls at 6 o'clock at night when they go, you guys left trash here. Like I'm the point person. But there are guys who do the jack of all trades. They go out, they meet with the customer, they install, and they're not maximizing their business. And then they're undercutting the market and making pennies on the dollar to get work. Whereas in my world, it's like, if I send all this out the right way, if my language looks right, my contract is loaded into my template, all of those things. And when they look at it, they go, shit, this guy's got it together. Because the way I look at it is, the more transparent I can be, the more information I can put out there, the more pictures. The pictures are to me, very important. The more I can put out there, it gives people that trust of like, this guy's got his stuff together. And now all of a sudden I feel like I'm becoming educated in this. And now contractor X, who also just wrote on a sheet of paper 250 feet of fence, and puts a price, they can go back to him and go, well, are you using #1 grade Western red cedar? Are you using galvanized fence posts? Some may lie and say they are, and some may go, well, no, this is for a wooden post. And so I always, when I follow up with people and they say, well, I'm getting other quotes, I always say, well, when you get your other quotes, if you have any questions, please contact me, because I would also just to like ensure that we're comparing apples to apples. And I think by the people who are serious about getting quality work done are going to look at this and go, okay, I know everything. There's no surprises. There's no surprises when I show up.
Mhm.
There's a summary of every bit of material I install on there. This is the grade, this is what it does, this is the price point if you change it. Like all of those things, and I'm not shooting from the hip. So I think that to me is the most valuable part about it. And it's
Awesome.
also look, and I will say this: the from a service standpoint, um, you guys are accessible. Um, Friday, I had an issue where I was a little like, what the hell? I had sent out about $35,000 worth of invoices, and none of my clients were getting them. And I was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I sent you the invoice. Just go ahead and pay it when you can. And they're like, well, we don't have anything. And then like a lady's like, the last thing I got from you was January 21st. I'm like, oh God. I called Nadia. Nadia answered the phone. She was like, oh, I don't know. Let me look into it. Now, I don't know if there was just a delay, but within 3 hours, I got customers texting me, hey, this went through. I just received it, paid, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, okay, good. Now I can breathe because it's Friday. I know it takes a few days for that money to hit, but I'm going, Jesus, like I need this, and it's not a good feeling, right? Because you still feel like, all right, there's a little bit of egg on my face right now because I'm saying one thing and it's not showing up, but the problem got solved. It
Yeah.
wasn't, we'll get back to you on Monday. It was like, nope, I will contact the IT team and see what's going on. And it was solved.
Yeah. Love
And so
that.
again, it goes back to you get what you pay for. But the other thing that's cool about it too is, look, I come from an education background, but also I was a coach. Um, I can I can switch over in roles however you want. Deep down, I'm what you're seeing now. I'm more of a laid back kind of language, kind of flows everywhere, and it's kind of just like this is just the talk. There's no pinky in the air, stuff like that. That's the best part about working with Ryan is I'm working with someone who understands a little bit of the trade of construction. So when I speak, it's not, I don't want this to come off wrong. It's not an IT guy who sat behind a computer and has no clue what I'm talking about and no clue what I really want. And I'm having to like baby him through the steps. Um, it's just here it is. Let's go. To me, that's been the best part. And look, and I get in this business, people are going to transition in and out of roles. I'm glad for me now. I'm at a point where I feel like I can continue to grow in this software and not rely on Ryan as much, but still have him when it's like, all right, got to figure this out. And I don't know what the shit to do. So I'm gonna shoot him a quick email or just jump on a calendar and say I need. And sometimes we've gotten on calls where it's like 10 minutes, and we're like, he's like, you got it, you good? And I'm like, perfect. Now I can go, and I can go on my very merry way. But now, like, even I'm like, as we're talking, I'm thinking like things I've lost sight of is some of the great things that I haven't even taken advantage of lately is my link that I should be texting to people to implement their own data into my lead forms.
Mm.
Um, I was good at that for a while, and something was a hiccup with the link, and I went back and fixed it. But like, I stopped using it, so now I'm actually not utilizing it to the best of its abilities because I'm still text me your information, and then now I'm sitting here typing it all in. So what happens? I misspell an email address every now and then, and like whereas
Yeah.
if I use that tool like I should be, when I sit down to do that, estimate for Dan, I go click on my leads, convert them to a customer, and then it's just boom, and here we go, and we're done. Um, so I mean that would be, I mean, it's all there, but you get what you put into it. And I can honestly say for the first couple of years, I didn't put as much into it. I made my life harder. I was like, oh well, this is an easy bid. I'll just use Square real quick, This is a little more complex. I'll use cost certified or Bolster and do it for that. Then I got to a point I'm like juggling these two things. And I forced myself at this point that my repeat customers that used to use Square, I now take the time and convert them over to this, to slowly but
Nice.
surely eliminate Square altogether, which is starting to show up when you see like
Yeah.
my list of clients I have now and
Yeah,
paid
awesome.
invoices, you know.
Yeah, it's good to
So
know, and it's good to hear that you can, switch pretty easily. And I just wanted to also talk about has it helped you, that transition from Square? Do you think you've won more jobs, using Bolster? And if you were to estimate how, a percentage or I don't know, maybe it's more than that, maybe it's like of increased, 5 times the amount of jobs. Do you think that just even the detail and the estimate and also the presentation of it. Do you think it's helped you win, more
I
jobs?
think I could say this. I think it's helped me stay in business. And what I mean by that is when I first started this business became an official business after Hurricane Ida. So it was shooting fish in a barrel after Hurricane Ida. My first few estimates were literally me typing an email. There was no Square, there was nothing. I took cash or check, and that was it. And like it was primitive. And then when I went to Square, it still didn't matter because there was so many people that needed so much work. The biggest thing that sold a job was, are you available? And so I made sure I was available. I had crews running everywhere. Well, then as things started to level out, now we're in a competitive market because I always I observed during that time after Ida when I would go to my suppliers, there would be, 15, 20 trucks in line in the morning loading up. Then all of a sudden it went down to 10 trucks. And some of them guys that were having their own trucks are now riding in the passenger seat of the other guy's truck because they've had to get together because they're not selling as much work. And then it got down to there's only 6 trucks. And some of them guys aren't even there anymore. So it was like, all right, now what are we going to do to differentiate ourselves? And like I said, this was really, I pushed this to try to get one job. But now I live in a world where I'm bidding out $30,000, $25,000, $50,000. Right now, we have one that's supposed to start in Q3 that is, it's a bunch of them put together, but it exceeds, because it's 4 properties, it exceeds $770,000. Now, what happens with that is I didn't have to make all of those crazy estimates. And on top of that, it was 5 properties. So once I created that template once, it was boom, 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 boom. So I'm like, I literally sent those estimates out in 20 minutes and I'm sitting there going, shouldn't I be doing something else? Like I just sent out the largest estimate I've ever sent out. Shouldn't I be like stressing over this for hours at a time? And I didn't. Um, and it's a weird feeling at first, I mean, it's like when I was a teacher, I was on a schedule. I had to show up there at a certain time and I left when the bell rang or I had a lot of structure about what I could and couldn't do. Now in my world, like I own my own business, so if I got to take the kids to school in the morning, well, I rearrange my schedule to take the kids to school. And then if I want to be done at 2 o'clock because I have something going on, then I'm done. If I want to go on, I can do. And at first, those things were like, wait, I don't need to be locked into these parameters. And that's how I felt with Square. There wasn't, you could build small templates, but a lot of it was literally me coming up with calculations of all of the materials on pen and paper, typing a description, and then typing a total price. And then people will say, well, how much is it if I don't do this? How much is it if I did it at this height? And now I can just go in and go, sure, I can do that. Click, 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 send it out. And now all of a sudden it's You're done. And all of the descriptions are there. Nothing's changed. And there's no retyping. There's no trying to reinvent the wheel. But I mean, as long as you're willing to do the back end work.
Yeah.
I started to take the mindset of like when I was teaching, I became really good at teaching when I did the back end work for a year and prepared all my stuff for the next 5 years. So then, like, I would go to class and it was like, well, all of my stuff's together because I made it last year. So here is day 2 of this chapter because I already built it out. So now
Mm.
I'm in that world now where, yeah, I got 6 estimates to do later today. And I'm not going, oh God, I got 6 estimates. I need like 2 or 3 hours. It's like, I got 6 estimates. I need an hour. And the only thing that's going to take me a while is because I haven't done that link. I got to put all of the customers in. But once I put all the customers in, it's click, 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 and and then it's
Yeah.
out and it's done.
Yeah, that's awesome to
So
hear, man.
yeah, that's been pretty good.
Yeah, cool, man. Oh no, that's great to hear. I mean, love hearing that feedback as well. And cool to hear a bit about your story, coming into it. It's always, it's changing, career for yourself as well from teaching to then, doing this out of
Oh,
obviously some
it was teaching
circumstances.
to insurance to doing this.
Right.
And
Okay.
the insurance market crashed on me after Ida. You couldn't sell a homeowner's
Of course.
policy.
Of course.
Um, and I tell people all the time, if you can sell insurance, you can sell anything.
Mm.
But what's going to be the thing that elevates you um, in these businesses? And for me, and look, and not every town is the same, not every city is the same. I get God knows how many calls a day from people upping Google presence, people wanting to get me on Yelp, do this, do that. New Orleans is very much of a market of, hey, do you have a guy? Um, I've sold jobs to other people that I've been referred by before I've sold the job to the referral source because they just got everything and they were like, oh my God, this guy's got, hey, I got your estimate. I'm looking through stuff. My husband and I still need to talk about it. But hey, I referred you to my sister because she needs some stuff done too. This person hasn't even signed up with me because, and the thing we've talked about is yes, it's easy. It's very transparent. But it's just professional.
Yeah.
It's
Awesome.
professional looking. It looks like here's a guy that invested time into his software. It's not an Excel spreadsheet with a number at the bottom. It's not an Excel spreadsheet with a clip art logo in the top left hand corner. This is well thought out. It's interactive. The only downside I would say is my elderly customers may struggle a little because it's like, well, I don't do email, I don't do text message. Um, but you also, as a contractor, then vet out. They might have. I've run into people. It's like, I don't do email, I don't do text message, and then you go to their house and you go, I don't care what you don't do. We're going to figure this out because they're a serious buying customer. They're just old and they're not technologically savvy, but this guy's sitting in a $2 million house. Like I'll happily print that shit out and come deliver it to your doorstep.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
but for 95% of my customers that live in this world where they don't want to be bogged down with phone calls, they would rather just a text message. And that's the other great feature is when I send out that estimate, they're not having to wait to go, because if anybody's like me, you go look at your personal email. I can't tell you how many times I've deleted an actual good email because of the 12 other emails that are trash. They're getting a text message notification that, oh, look at this. Nola Fence Solutions just sent in an estimate. I can click here and look at it. And then later on, they also know that I need to refer to it later. It's in my email. So it's in 2 places, I think, which is very important. Um, Whereas Square, I think, used to just be an email. So then I found myself texting, hey, just want to let you know the estimate's out. The other great feature, which I like, is uh, there's some days where I'm like, oh, Dan's getting ready to pull the trigger. He's looked at that estimate 6 times today because every time Dan opens that thing, I get a notification. Dan has viewed this proposal. Um, and so, you know, okay, they're viewing it, and then you're not going to hop right on it, but like, okay, tomorrow, I'm just going to give him a little poke and be like, hey, Dan, just checking in with you, seeing if you had any questions on the estimate. I know it went out last week. And I always just say something, just want to make sure you got it. Knowing that I know that they've looked at it six
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they say, nah, I hadn't had a chance to look at it yet. I kind of know at that point, they're not that serious.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
a good way for me to vet. And it's a good way for me to also prepare. Like I got one that is a pretty sizable job, and the guy told me, yeah, we're going to wait a little bit. And then in the last week, I've noticed that either once a day or a couple of times a day, he's looking at the different quotes and the different options right now. So what it's telling me is he's moving along in that process, and he's
Mhm.
thinking about which option he's going to take. Um, so, and the other thing is, what's cool about that is if I don't get an email saying that, hey, they viewed this, or if I go look at the activities and they haven't seen it, I kind of go, I need to poke them because maybe they didn't get it. Maybe they deleted it by accident. And that's happened, like, hey, sent the email out last week, hadn't heard from you, just making sure you got it. Actually, I didn't see anything. I go back and I look and oh, nope, you haven't viewed it. Yeah, it says, it's still sitting there, but I'm going to go ahead and send you a reminder so it'll be at the top of your email. Boom, and
Mm.
it's done. So I
Yeah.
do like that tool. I mean, I like it. And then some other times it kind of like, Jesus, I just got 18 emails with all these people that viewed it. Let me delete all of these. But then like there's sometimes I'm like, I'm going to leave this one to remind me to follow up with them.
Mm.
Um,
100%.
so I mean, look, the software keeps getting better.
Yeah.
It keeps improving. And maybe it's always been this good and I'm just learning more about it, but I do see some certain things that are making it a little more user friendly. It can be a little intimidating on the front end. Um, but once you take the time and walk through it and you go, okay, like I'm starting to get it now. Once you get to that, I'm not going to say estimates are fun. Like it's like, oh man, I can't wait to sit down and just plow through all these things. Um, but it's like once it's out and you just feel there's a certain amount of confidence you feel too when you send it out that you go, I just put something out there that's pretty good. And it's
Yeah.
in their hands now. And I'm not going to win them all. And the people who want the cheaper, well, this person was cheaper, this person was this person was that. It's not necessarily my ideal customer anyway. I want my ideal customer to be the one that looks at that and goes, all right, I want this guy because he's got it together. Um, and I think all of those things are stuff you learn as you grow in business of who the ideal customer is. I used to say in insurance, they talked so much about the ideal customer. And when you're starting in selling insurance and you're starting from rock bottom, $0 commission, is your pay, which is what I'm in now. My ideal customer was the person who answered the phone. I
Mm.
didn't care who it was. And I got drugged through a bunch of crap, didn't make a lot of money. But now I'm looking at who's my ideal customer. So I've been able to design my stuff with the materials that I can stand behind and go, this is what I offer. And they go,
Right.
well, why don't you do this? Why don't you offer this? And then I can explain why and say, this is why I do this. So if you're looking for someone that uses inferior materials for something that's not going to last, I might not be the right person for you. And some people go, well, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, let me look at your stuff now. And then they go, so glad we did it this way. And then there's the
Yeah.
ones who take the inferior stuff. And, there's been on a handful of occasions where we've had contractor A goes and beats me on a fence, and they
Mm.
do part of the fence. And then a year and a half later, I get a phone call because they need to do another side, and they asked me to come do it because the other guy who did it, they're like, when you get here, you'll see this other guy did terrible work, and let me know if there's anything you can do to repair it.
Classic.
And that's when I usually hit them with, there is no repair in this, and I don't repair other people's screw ups. You either need to get him back out here, or I can tear it all out and do it the right way.
Mm.
Um, and they learn that. And it's not to be arrogant, but um, this stuff, this software, the way my presentation comes out, it allows me to be an elevated contractor and a more respected contractor in my field.
Mm.
Um,
100%.
so you can't be $1 million contractor and put out, you know, a $5 estimate. You can't. So it's gotta look the part, from your branding of what your stuff looks like, you know, your how I show up on a job site, to everything has to be top notch.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the goal.
Yeah, that's cool, man. No, you're 100% right, man. Sales is everything, and if you don't present yourself in that way, you're not going to win the job. And I'm glad that, we can really do that for you. Yeah, it's cool to hear that whole story. I want to talk a little bit, and you touched on it a little bit before. I want to talk about payments and invoicing and all that as well. What's it like, tell me about the whole story, man, from what you were doing before when you first started out, journeyed into Square and then now coming in to use Bolster for payments. How's that made it easier for you? And how has that sped up the process?
So very simple. So when I first started with Square, once I got out of just taking checks and cash, Square allowed you to take credit cards. They even sent me a little reader and all that good stuff. Um, but you had to manually put in that credit card fee, and you had to manually have it in there or remove it. Got burnt a few times on that. One, either Square would raise their fees without me remembering to change it in my little template, or I get the customer that says, "Hey, Mike, I'm going to pay you with a check." So they give me the deposit with a check. Can you remove the service fee? I remove the service fee. Job finishes, and they go, "Hey, Mike, don't worry about coming and get the check. I just went ahead and put the last half on my credit card." Boom. I just ate 3.3%. So when I get paid, I just lost 3.3%. At the time, Square wasn't even offering ACH. Okay, so I had to either get a physical check, take a credit card, or go get cash, whatever of those three. They take ACH now, but I haven't ever actually done that. But what makes it easy with Bolster is you can make your selections. Do I want to cover the credit card transaction fee? It's a little toggle. No, I don't, because I'm not covering whatever I don't even know what the percentage is at this point, but I'm not covering that percentage on $25,000. I'm not, because that cuts into my profit margin a lot, because margins can be tight. Do I want to cover the bank draft fee? Sure. If you're willing to pay, 14 or 15K straight out of your bank account, I'll cover whatever that is, upwards to $15 on the 14K. I'll cover that. So I'll toggle that to on. And that's it. And then anything else, if I get a check, obviously I just open up my app on invoices, mark as paid after I deposit in the bank, and I'm done. But everything else, I don't have to worry about covering fees. I don't have to worry about changing percentages. The customer has that transparency when they pay. It's easier to just, hey, select my toggles, and I don't have to worry about the fee. I got burnt on that fee at least 6 or 7 times.
Oh no.
And I mean, sometimes it might be $80, and sometimes it might be $200 or whatever, but that all added up. And then what do I do? Do I go back to the customer and be like, whoa, 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 you paid with a credit card and there was a service fee and this? I'm like, I just want to be done.
Mm.
Um, so it eliminates that. I don't even need to talk about it, because they can, when they go to pay, they go, oh, well, I'm going to incur this much of a fee if I pay by a credit card. The other thing is, that's not that big of a deal anymore, because just about every business in the world now is being transparent about the credit card fee. You're going to pay a little bit more if you use a card, and that's just what it is. So, but yeah, that's something that has been a lot easier to navigate and maneuver with than previously with uh, with Square. So very
Yeah.
simple.
Awesome. And then how do you invoice or how do you, bill your customers? Do you do it at how are you doing it at the start and the end, lump sum at the beginning, a deposit, or are you doing it,
So
at
for
all?
me, it's job dependent. Um, like for example, this one that my guys are working on now, $13,000. So last week when they said, sure, we're ready to roll, boom, they hit accept. It automatically goes to one of my book jobs. I then convert that into an invoice, send them for 50%. I collect 50% on the front end, 50% on the back end. Now, if it's a massive job that's going to take us, 2 months to complete because there's a lot of components, it might be a 50, 25, 25. Um, but for the most part, it's 50-50. Or, like, for example, yesterday, 1 day job, tell a customer, hey, man, I'm not going to make you pay a deposit on the front end. So you got to do this several times. I'll send you the invoice at the end of the day, just pay it. And they do that. So, but most of the time it's just 50-50. So it's pretty simple. Especially like I said, on these bigger jobs. What I do like about the 50-50 is, like, if there is a hangover on, like, for example, this job I completed yesterday was right under $7,000. I haven't gotten paid yet. This job that started today is 13. Well, they gave me their 6,500 last week, which should have cleared by now. Okay, so you see, I'm just stacking to what's outstanding is kind of balancing. So I mean, in all business, it's all a balancing act, right? Um, so I mean, for me, and I don't like to get stuff too far in advance, just because things happen. Um, so, but yeah, the 50-50 split is typically what I do, and it's cool because you can always adjust. Like, even on this job we're on today, I told them, like, I'm putting a change order in because once we got into it, we realized that we had a couple of bigger issues. Sent the contractor photos, and they're like, "Oh God, yeah, okay." And it's like $200, but I can just add that $200 in, bill it, and it's in there as a change order, and it's done. So, all pretty simple
Awesome.
stuff.
Yeah, totally, man. No, I love to hear that. It's cool to have the flexibility, for bigger jobs to do that. And yeah, really cool that you're utilizing the features on there as well. I want to talk a
Mhm.
little bit about selections and upgrades and options and things. How has that been, from a customer experience side? And have you actually seen, your job values go up from those?
Um, yes and no. So the selector tools with, like, for example, all of my fence boards, that is something that Ryan and I have recently put in probably over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Um, so I haven't seen a whole lot of movement on that yet because it's my newer estimates that are going out that have that. But, like, when I put optional stuff on there, like for me, if I'm putting a cap and trim on a fence or adding a mud board to the bottom, those are optional items that a lot of times people will add or remove, based on what they want. And it's pretty simple for me. Like, right, once they accept, the other thing that is great about is it protects me as well. So at the conclusion of a job, like, I had a customer do this to me one time. Why do I not have a cap and trim on my fence? And I'm like, well, you said no thanks. No, 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 no. It was on the estimate. No, and then I pulled it up and even screenshotted. Boom. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I mustn't have added that back. Now we can. No, it's okay. We'll wait. Or yeah, we'll add it. But it protects me in not just having like spoken, like verbal, kind of talking back and forth. Oh yeah, 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 we can do that. And because if I was in Square, I don't have those options. And they go, we want to do a cap and trim. Yeah, 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 that's cool. And I never change it, but then I verbally agreed to it. Well, then what happens? Like now I'm stuck in a back and forth about who's right and who's wrong. And then I'm going to end up having to put in a cap and trim on this fence and eating something because this customer is accusing me of, I said something and I didn't follow through. And in today's world, right, all it takes is one customer to get pissed off and go online and start typing about how this guy's not honest, this guy does this guy does it. It's all about transparency. And this allows me to be very transparent with, nope, this is the fence board you selected. The description is there. This is what you selected here. You opted not to do this, and you hit accept. And that contract, all of that stuff was in there, and that's what you accepted.
Yeah.
So it's a good protection thing, I think. But I mean, like I said, we're getting into the selector tools a little more. But from the optional standpoint, I've been using that for a while. Like even the customer yesterday opted to add a mud board and things like that. So that's easy.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. I mean, cool to hear. And yeah, you're right that, that estimate is just a working document of what's been agreed on. And I think it's cool to hear that as well. And you can really, yeah, protect your own profits from that. If they don't select something, it's clearly laid out for them.
Yeah.
And part of that estimate and the process of what Bolster's doing is communication, right? It's the client education and communication. And so yeah, I'm happy that you're using that as well to do that. But yeah, just finishing off here, I know we're running out of time, but how good has Ryan been? Can you just glaze him a little bit? And and how has he been to work with? How accessible has he been? And yeah, we're looking to just get a little bit of customer support testimonial as well because we really care about our customers and we want them to have that one-to-one relationship with our guys here in the office as well. Yeah, man, tell us about how he's helped you and templates and selector tools and everything. We want to hear it.
I mean, yeah, Ryan's the reason at this point why I'm still working um, with Bolster because I mean, for the most part, it can be for someone who just wants to be in the field, hustling to work, being client facing, and not being bogged down with all of this. This can feel overwhelming at first to try to get things made and customized to how you want it. You can have all the templates in the world, but you need something that's going to fit into what's comfortable for you. How do you feel comfortable building it out? And it's not easy to do. And our time is always very precious to us. And working with Ryan has become pretty simple. Of sometimes our meetings are 30 minutes, sometimes they're 10 minutes. It just depends on what it calls for at that point. But you have a guy who, like I said, you feel like has been involved in the industry, has been around just blue collar guys at some point. And you can talk about fishing and hunting in cold weather that's going on in Canada, and understand that he gets it. So when you go, hey, I need help with this, and this, and he says, I got it. Um, it's going to come back and it's going to be done correctly. And then he's going to walk you through it and teach you how he did it. So you don't need to always have a meeting with Ryan every time because it might be Sunday at 6 o'clock and you're going, oh my God, how do I put this together? You're going to go, oh wait, this is what I have to do. So, I mean, I think we've been together for probably going on 2 years now, getting close to that maybe. And this is what has helped, with the work with Ryan. This is where I feel like finally I'm actually starting to maximize this stuff, and I've elevated myself to a place with this where I feel really confident with it. And it's knowing that I have a point person that I can just send an email to or hop on his calendar real quick, and like I said, just knock something out. And sometimes it just might be, like I said, it sometimes he's probably happy he's got the 30-minute meeting blocked off and we're 3 minutes in. I'm like, cool, good, gotta go to the next job. And it's like, perfect, we figured it out. So that's the whole key, is a support system. Because there's a lot of software companies that might have great platforms, but if you can't get in touch with anybody, if you can't get on the phone and speak with somebody, and I know what most of us, I hate emailing questions back and forth, and it's taken a week now to figure all that stuff out. I would say it's taken me no longer than 2 days at any point to get on Ryan's calendar or to find time for a quick phone call and just solve a problem. So that to me is also very important because that's what the business we're in. We're in a business of customer service too. So, we need the same thing.
Yeah, 100%. Love that. Hey, no, thank you for that. And yeah, no, if you had to try and convince another contractor to come on Bolster, we'll close with this. What would you tell
Yep.
them, Mike?
I would say that, I mean, for me, anything's worth giving it a shot. And in my business, I'm willing to try anything. I guess I'm guilty to an extent of taking the sales call from somebody and listening because I've been there and I know it's hard. I'm glad I took the call here and listened and gave it a shot. It has allowed me and it has given me more freedom, not only in my business, but in my home life. Because like even today, I'm not going to be able to get to these bids that I need to do till probably closer to when the kids are getting home. But instead of me taking 2 hours to knock these out, I may be under 30 minutes to get all of my work done. And so for me, yes, is it going to take back end work and effort? Anything does, but you put that effort in, and then you see those results on the back end of what you can do and the time freedom it gives you. And at the same time, you're getting more time back and you're presenting something that's better than anything that you have right now. So it's a win-win. So you're getting more um, and you're getting more time. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Is it an investment? Yes. Um, if you scale your business correctly, in my opinion, it's a nominal investment for what you get. So for me, it has been totally worth giving it a shot. Some things might not be perfect for everyone, but what's the harm in trying? Because what's the worst thing that can happen? You don't like it and you move to something else. I went through that. I went through other companies, didn't like it, found my landing place here. And again, it is because the back end support, not everything's going to be perfect. This world is so flowing so much with so much technology so quick that it's always going to be a catch up game with all of us trying to figure all these things out. But for me, it is I'm gaining so much more. I'm gaining so much more in my business from what I'm putting out there and the way it looks and the professionalism and the ability to land more work. And I'm gaining so much more time because I'm not bogged down having to recreate the wheel every time I need to make an estimate or find a pipeline with my customers or checking stuff on customers. So for me, I'm always gaining with this, whether it be in my business or gaining more time.
Yeah, awesome, man. No, that's perfect. That's exactly what, contractors want. Is more time, more time with with the family, or if it's more time on weekends, less time spent estimating is always a win. And we want to offer that. We want to offer that lifestyle, back to contractors. So I'm really happy to hear that, man. Thank you so much for
Yep.
your time. We've run out of time
Yep.
here. I know you got other jobs as well. But yeah, no. But yeah, no, honestly, like Ryan's had awesome things to say about yourself as well. And yeah, I know that he's, stoked to be in your corner and be working with you as well. And yeah, we're happy as a business to be able to help, guys like you out as well, switching careers and all that. So yeah, thank you. We
Yep.
just want to say a massive thank you. We can close it off, there.
Yeah.
But
Thanks for the kind
yeah.
Yep.
words, Mike. And as well, like you said earlier, I totally appreciate it. And whenever you want to book a meeting to go over that next stuff, by all means, rock and roll.
Yep. We'll do, dude. We'll do. Yeah. I got to get ready to run on my next one. I got 12 minutes to get somewhere and it's 15 minutes.
Okay.
So
We'll
Nice.
let
I'll
you
get
go, man.
rolling. I'll get rolling. I'll hear from you guys soon.
Yeah, sounds good, mate. All right.
All right.
Thanks
Thanks
for
a
your
lot.
time. We'll see
All right.
you
Bye
around.
bye.
Cheers.